Okay, I want to talk about Brandish in Fairytail, the final season. Now, in the beginning of the final season, we get to know about Brandish and what her powers is. Basically, she can shrink down anything and make anything bigger that easily because she's really powerful. And we see that when she shrinks the island that Natsu and their friends are on and turns into a tiny rock. So she's that powerful. Now, she can only do this temporarily, but still, she can do that. She can shrink an island. So, when Zeraf's army attacks and Brandish enters Magnolia, why doesn't she just completely shrink the town? I mean, she could have just shrunken everything, shrunk the buildings, everything, and then even if she couldn't do that to the wizards because of their power levels or whatever, she could have shrunk the town down and basically left everyone out in the open, unable to hide or defend themselves. So basically, Zaraf's army could attack directly and they would have to fight them directly. There would be no hiding whatsoever. But she doesn't do that. She barely uses her powers at all during the war. I mean, the only thing she does is shrinks Lucy's house down. And that doesn't make any sense. And the fact that they actually introduced such an overpowered character into this final season would have caused a lot of issues, but then why did you introduce it? And more importantly, why did you bring her into the city in the beginning itself and have her not just shrink the entire town? She doesn't do any of this. I mean, everyone knows what her powers are, and Zaraf could have ordered her to do that, and she would have done that. Even if she wanted to talk to Lucy, she would have done that anyway, but she didn't do that. And basically, the battle went on as it did. And that seems like a huge waste and a big plot hole for the final season. I mean, she can shrink really powerful characters and all. And yeah, I guess you could argue that she might not have been able to shrink everyone because they are too powerful. But she could have shrunk the town down. It would have been way too easy, and they didn't bother doing that. And in fact, she was so overpowered that they didn't even bother making her actually fight anyone seriously. All she had was a fake fight with Lucy. She had no intention of killing her anyway. And she didn't do that. Which seems like a huge plot hole, I guess. And not just that. You could also say the same thing about Demaria. She was so overpowered that she could freeze time. But I guess then again, there was Ulf's daughter, Altair, in that time space. So that might not have been easy, but Brandish didn't have any restrictions at all. She could have done all this super easily. But she didn't do it. I mean, she was powerful enough to make the thing inside Natsu grow bigger and smaller. And considering that, she could have done this, and she didn't do it. And I know this feels like a rant, but it's a huge missed opportunity with such an overpowered character. I mean, that's the first thing they should have done. They should have just made her shrink everything. She got inside the barrier. And all the other wizards that were fighting, they could just made her shrunk them as well. I mean, no one could do anything about it. So yeah, it's a bit confusing. And why you bother introducing that character to begin with? This is what you're gonna do with her. It seems like a huge waste and a huge plot hole. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing what happened with her. And apparently she's having some cameos in the new 100-year quest. And we actually see her make Gagio super huge into the size of a giant city. And Gagio is very powerful, so the fact that she could do that actually says a lot about her powers. Even though it was only for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, she still managed to do that. So yeah, hopefully she gets a better arc in the 100-year quest, and she actually takes full advantage of her powers. I mean, she's really called the Nation Destroyer. She can actually destroy a nation. because she can shrink it down and just pummel it with her feet. So yeah, it is disappointing, but it is what it is. Now, apart from that, what other plot holes are there in the Fairytail 100-year quest? Well, there's Demaria, but I'll have to think more about that. It's not that clear-cut. Yeah. I'm gonna have to think about other plot holes that may exist in this season.